guys, Billy here with Good Breeze. Today I'm here with Latham Kellum, and today we're going to go into our part 3 of how to tow foil, and this is safety preparedness. So Latham, tell everybody your qualifications and kind of your experience with safety when it comes to water sports in general.
Okay. Name's Latham Kellum. I've been doing jet ski based water safety for quite a while. About 30 years in the EMS industry, and also with boat racing, jet ski racing, yacht racing, you name it, any kind of on-water support. I look at jet skis, most people call it a personal watercraft. I look at it like it's a Hilux pickup truck. It's just a very, very useful tool, and it's been developed over the years to be just an incredible platform to really affect water safety and also get us out in places that we normally can't paddle to. And with that being said, it can get you also into some danger and some atypical situations that you do have to train to get yourself out of or to avoid in the first place. So we got a couple chapters to cover.
Yeah, so we'll start with like appropriate equipment. And we touched on this in part 1, so if you haven't watched part 1, it's a good one to start, just kind of stuff that we sell here in the shop. But we're going to go a little more into like some more specialty items, which were also covered in part 2, and how to prepare your jet ski by Jeremy. So basically there's the obvious things. Life jacket, you want to have something like that on a jet ski. You want to have, or like some sort of impact vest. You want to have a helmet of some sort. There's also a lot of safety first aid type kits and stuff like that. One thing that I wanted to talk to you about is a leash for the foiler himself, not necessarily on the jet ski, right? But like I've seen some people think it's safer to wear a leash while towing. Some people think it's not safer to not wear a leash for easier pickup. So I'm kind of curious on your thoughts. I have my opinion, but I want to hear what you think on that.
Yeah, so it comes down to probably the conditions that you're towing in.
I agree.
A low energy condition, you're towing slow, you're just going into some nice little gliders, and you may possibly be near swimmers where someone can wash in, or other surfers, then yeah, a leash is appropriate. But anything with a little bit more dynamic environment, speed, size of the waves, it's probably better to not wear the leash. That way you can separate from your watercraft, your surfboard, and you can be picked up separately from that. If you do get picked up on a jet ski, typically with a sled, that leash is going to be dangling around behind. And it's not like a typical surfboard with a foil. The foil will have some water dynamics underwater that will typically tend to make things a little, say, random, rather than having a surfboard with just regular fins towing nice and flat behind the ski. So I would highly recommend you try it in low waves, figure out what you like for your leash or not. But for me personally, I would definitely not be wearing a leash if I'm towing in anything over like a foot and I'm far away from swimmers out in the wilderness, such as the Cape or somewhere off, South Florida somewhere, one of the outer reefs. Just to get away from your board in a bad situation, you get picked up by the ski, the board will wash in somewhere, it's easy to see, you'll be able to pick it up later, it's going to float.
Yeah, I kind of agree. I mean, it's really kind of like you said, if there's any people around anywhere and where there's a chance of that board going in and getting to those people, then you should wear a leash. There's no question about it. That goes for proning as well. I've seen people get hit in the face with boards, surfboards and foil boards, so that's a no-brainer. If there's other people, other swimmers, other foilers around, you should wear a leash. I think that's number one. If the conditions are big and kind of gnarly, scary, where you need to be picked up in a hurry by the jet ski, then yeah, probably not going to want to wear a leash, but you should probably have some sort of good flotation device. I mean, you definitely should have some sort of good flotation device. That way, if you are stuck in the impact zone, getting beat up, and you don't have your board to hold on to, you're going to stay afloat and you're not in immediate danger, especially without having a leash there. So would you say that's kind of pretty accurate?
The idea is basically be a good neighbor first. You want to protect others. That's your first thought when you do risk assessment. Protect everybody else, protect the environment. If there's boat traffic nearby or whatever, you don't want to cause somebody to have to navigate around you. So control yourself first, protect others, and then look internally, then protect yourself. Then it goes with helmets, impact vests, life jackets, signaling device, whistles.
Yep.
The list goes on, but you can only carry so much on the jet ski with you at any given time. So make sure you have an appropriate loadout for your kid that doesn't get in the way of your fun and your safety.
Yeah, I think we touched a lot of that on part 2 when Jeremy went through his jet ski and how to prepare it. And I think he had pretty much all of these items. I don't know if he had the fins. What do you keep these fins in there for?
So typically, anytime you go out on a jet ski, you got to assume it may break, and you might have to swim it home or swim it to a safe zone. So what we have here is this is a typical loadout with a fin belt. And so the jet ski operator would unclip this, have it around their waist. It lays low, nice and out of the way. But if you gotta power your jet ski into a safe area, if it sucked up a rope, rule number 1, never suck up the rope. But if you suck up the rope and it's done, it will not start. Get your fins on, get in the water, start pulling that thing into a safe zone. If it is unsafe to swim with the jet ski, just let it go. It'll wash in. It's a boat. It's gonna float. You can power yourself out of the impact zone, and you have some control over where you're going. The ocean will take you where it wants to go. Fins give you a fighting chance to help direct yourself to safety.
Yeah, jet skis do break down often. So it is something you always want to have a backup plan. And that kind of will lead me into like our second chapter is like location. So like where you are going to tow, you really need to pay attention and know your area and know the specifics of that area. And I always say like first thing you should plan on that area is a backup plan. What happens if your jet ski does break down? Do you have a plan for that? Because you should, because it's a very good chance it could happen. So do you have a radio? Do you have someone on call that you can get to come tow you out? Do you have another team with another jet ski with you to keep an eye on you? Are you able to wash up onshore? Some areas that people tell you can't wash up onto shore. So do you have an anchor to throw in case your jet ski does break down? All these things are very important to consider for your location, right?
Yeah, it comes down to risk management. So if you're near shore, you're at a tow, just off one of your shore breaks or sandbar somewhere in town, I would call it. You can see buildings. You're somewhere in the city or close by, state park, whatever, boat traffic. You're probably close in. An iPhone stuffed inside your life vest, a little upper pouch. A lot of life jackets have that now. Ziploc baggie or a Pelican case down in the hold. You have some form of communication. When you're on a jet ski, you can get really far from civilization pretty quick. You can get in trouble pretty quick. Having no communications is not a good idea. So iPhone or Android, whatever your flavor is, in the least, have your phone with you. If I go offshore any more than a few miles, you can get these at West Marine, any kind of marine shop.
Get a waterproof one.
It's a waterproof VHF. ICOM is kind of the standard for it. And you can talk to ship traffic, call the Coast Guard. You can talk to your other crewmates if you have multiple boats out. Everybody has a radio. Real time, push to talk. The only thing with these, make sure that you blow the water out of the microphone and the speaker so you can hear them. So on occasion, you'll blow it out first and get used to using it. Blow it out, communicate, key up, and talk.
And most people don't know the general hailing channel for safety is 16, right?
So before you leave the water with your partner and your buddies, if there's multiple skis or a boat, you choose which channel it's going to be. Make sure you're on the right channel and lock down the keypad so that when you're towing and surfing, you don't hit the buttons and change channel.
And that's for between if you were with another ski or another boat. But if you are out by yourself or you need to call for help to generally, it's channel 16, correct? In the U.S., it's channel 16 will call Coast Guard or anybody that's listening. It's almost vessels will have it tuned on to channel 16 and then their private channel as well, whatever they're using. So that's an important one to know. If you have one of these, you got to make sure you know how to use it. Yeah. Otherwise, it does you no good.
And other people also monitor those channels. Another boat that could be close by, describe what you have going on. Maybe a guy's fishing half a mile from you. He can come by and pick you up.
And that leads to knowing where you are, right? You need to know where you are to be able to describe where you are, to tell somebody where to come and get you. So you don't want to just start wandering off to some place that you don't know how to tell somebody else how to get there in case something does go wrong. So whether it's GPS coordinates or landmarks or whatever you need to know how far off you are, it's important to kind of know where you are.
So quick overview that part of that risk management is a communications plan. Always have comms before leaving the beach. Have what we call a boat plan. Tell your wife, tell your friends, tell your buddies, tell the local shop, hey, we're towing off of location X today. I got 3 guys with me. They'll keep an eye out. They might even call you later that afternoon. Hey, how was your session? Don't hear from you for a day. That might be your lifeline. So, that's really important. Before you leave shore, that you've established, hey, I'm going to be out. This is our party. This is how big we are, and this is what we're doing.
And that's really any session, not even just tow foiling. Right? You're going out prone foiling or anything. You should tell somebody. Too many people go out by themselves and don't tell people. I mean, we had a friend that went out. He was telling the story in here yesterday at the shop. He went out wing foiling by himself, got cut in his leg, got the foiled leg, thought he was going to bleed out, didn't have a tourniquet, didn't have a rash guard on to kind of tie it off, didn't have anything, and it took him about 20 minutes to swim in. Someone finally called the EMTs, and I think they took him to. You probably even knew about that one. He took him to the hospital, and he had to have his muscle re-sewed and stitched up, and he didn't have a phone or anything. And he was in here yesterday buying, life jacket, phone case, appropriate helmet. He totally rethought the way he does things because he went out by himself, didn't tell anybody he was going out, got cut, and could have died. So it's those are little important things that you don't think of until you wish you did. So this is kind of what we're trying to help you on that.
Yeah, like any sport, you do it long enough, whether it be horseback riding, hiking, you name it. You do it long enough, you're going to have situations.
Yeah.
And if you
And
don't
you get
train or
complacent.
prepare, the complacency is the biggest thing. But if you don't train and prepare, or even just think in the morning, just the what if scenarios,
That's huge.
walk them through your head, and then you might have one of those that day. So if you've thought about it ahead of time, it gives you just a little bit better chance of
Okay,
getting
I've
through.
already thought about this. This is good. All right, so more on locations. Some of the really important things to think about for your location or whatever location it is that you're going to be towing is to really make sure you look at the environmental factors, tides, rocks, whatever else that could be a factor to your specific area. Maybe channels when maybe the tide's so low it breaks more in this area at this tide and not at this tide and things like that. Just kind of keep an eye out on that. Really important. And then the really important thing that I think is not touched on enough is like the legal and social aspects, right? So, like, is it even allowed? Are you even allowed to be in the area with a jet ski in your location? Like you might know a little bit more on the rules and laws and regulations around here, or in Cocoa Beach, Florida.
There's quite a bit, and the enforcers, whether it be FWC, Fish and Wildlife, the Sheriff's Office, the Navy in certain cases, the Air Force in other cases, depending on how wilderness areas you've gone into, even Border Patrol in some areas, So you not knowing about the law doesn't preclude your innocence or guilt in this. It is, you're expected to know it. You touch a boat, you got a license for it, it's registered, you've done all those steps, so do the rest. Know your area that you're in, local knowledge. And that comes for the legal aspect as well as environmental. So back to environmental, I think, and you probably agree with me, one of the biggest factors in environment, whatever your local break is going to be those tides. They're going to make the sandbars break a little harder at low tide. Your incoming tides are going to bring in more storm swell or more long distance swell. So you can affect those changes. Expect them to affect your operations somewhat.
Sure.
We have a spot that's kind of a wilderness area that we go to, and it is a different day entirely when that tide changes.
Every time.
Just by like 2 feet. So that affects your risk management, your safety, your safe zones for, what you got, your takeoff zone, and it could push it out like another mile away,
Sure.
So you got to anticipate those. If you have a mothership boat that you're sitting with and you got your jet skis operating out of that, you might have to move the mothership, move it out to sea a little bit further
Did you
in
bring
deeper
enough
water.
fuel?
Yeah, exactly. So those factors are all part of that risk management. And for the environmental as well, if you're near shore and you're somewhere in town somewhere and you're close to civilization and other surfers, know that high tide, deep water, typically people don't want to paddle out and surf in it. They want that lower tide, that harder break sandbar. So know that the crowd may show up at a different tide. You've had it all morning and it's deeper water, having a blast, and all of a sudden you see surfers paddling out. Guess what? It might be time to move on or move further away. So that comes down to the legal aspect of it. I do know that some of the shore communities like Daytona Beach, Volusia County area, Brevard County area, there's hard written rules on what a jet ski can do, a personal watercraft can do, how close it is to shore and how close it is to swimmers. Typically, I think the most minimum of any of the rules is 300 feet from shore and 100 feet from a swimmer. And 100 feet's nothing. You cover that ground pretty quick. So that, to me, that's the bare minimum standard, but know those. I believe Volusia County might even be a little further than that from shore, maybe 500 to 1,000 feet in certain areas. But they also have jet ski areas. They have you can launch from the beach in Volusia County in certain areas. But know those times and rules and go talk to the gatekeepers at the beach, the I guess the pass booth or whatever. They might have an extra ticket for you if you need to pay to get on the beach with your jet ski and your trailer. But that comes down to local knowledge. So just know those aspects before you even go out there. Don't be out there and get caught red-handed doing something that you may or may not know that you should have been doing, but that's on you. So make sure you know before you go. As far as the social aspect, the etiquette of it all, you know.
Yeah, this is a big one because
so,
we don't want to. Those rules are in place now, but they could get worse really quickly, and a lot of that comes down to how us as a community act in the water, and in and around surfers, swimmers, other pedestrians or beachgoers. So really pay attention to what you're doing and how you're doing it, and how you're interacting with others.
And even other tow teams. Just because you see a jet ski out there doesn't mean that they're foiling. It could be surfing. So there's,
Or they could just be jet skiing.
Different board sports. Yeah, they could be jet skiing, and sometimes there might be even companies out there test driving jet skis in certain times of the year and might be in the middle of your surf spot. So you got to work with people. Just talk to them. Say, hey, we're going to tow. We're going to be on the left. You be on the right, or whatever. Just share that space, and that's important. But the priority in the water is always going to be the pedestrian. It's going to be that swimmer. You know, next is going to be that surfer that's not towing. You've got a group of surfers on a peak. You probably don't want to tow that peak.
Stay away from it. There's no reason. The whole idea of foiling is so you can get away from these crowded areas. And what you also might not realize is you might be over there thinking that everything is fine and you're nowhere near those surfers, but to them that are in this peaceful, nice, quiet nature environment, they hear your jet ski, they smell it goes, they smell the fumes from the jet ski. It's more annoying than you think because you're in the moment on the ski. You don't feel and hear the same things that they are. So really try to keep that in mind and give it more distance than you really think it should be right. Because I have been a surfer and a foiler proning in the water when other people are towing around, and it does kind of mess up your scene and your environment, especially for people that have never been on a jet ski and they're just trying to get that nice peaceful morning or afternoon or whatever. So try to just keep that in mind and give a little bit extra space to others. I think it's just the right thing to do. If you have a ski, you can go anywhere. So there's really no reason to be near those people.
Yeah, and by extra space, if there's surfers in the water, extra space means get out of sight.
Yeah.
Just go. There's plenty of outer reef breaks, further down sandbars, literally. And by out of sight means probably maybe a quarter mile, in some cases. So
yeah. And if you're the one getting towed, and you ride a wave, you don't want to ride that wave all the way to the surfers because you can cover along a far distance. Guess what? That jet ski has to come pick you up. He has to come right into they have to come right into the surfer area to get you. So again, farther than you really think. Because I've done it. I've been guilty of it. Where we think we're far away. I ride one wave, and all of a sudden I'm like, I'm getting pretty close to the surfers, but I didn't realize it because I was riding a wave. Because you can cover distance with a foil. It's crazy.
Yeah, and if you keep getting picked up in the surfing, like you finish your wave and you come down off the foil and you're paddling back out, but you're in a mix of surfers, paddle far away. Just paddle straight out.
Don't expect the ski to come get you. And the ski driver shouldn't come and get you. You should paddle out, get away from the surfers to where the ski can come get you, or you're nowhere near them and not bothering them.
It's called being a good neighbor.
Yep.
So if somebody gives you some lip or some lip service or whatever, just take it, move on.
Yeah.
Take it as a clue.
Yeah, we want to keep the communities, everybody happy. And the beauty of foiling is it is getting people from all different aspects, right? It is getting surfers, it is getting the kiteboarder, it is getting wakeboarders, it is getting everybody. So we want to keep it that way and keep a good name for it and continue that.
So another thing on the social side of it, for the etiquette part, you get the legal, which is written. It's try not to constrain, keep things free, but that's the bare minimum. And we go above and beyond that a little bit more with the etiquette, and giving space to surfers, giving space to known local breaks. They're known surfing breaks. It's on your do not fly list. There's plenty of places to explore. We've discovered, I've lost count, how many amazing out of the way spots.
They're usually the best.
And you get to name them because you found it.
Yep.
And then that name sticks, and then let's go to, we don't tell you about where they're at, but just say there's more than 50,
Sure.
put it that way,
Half the
in
fun
the
is
last 3 or
exploring.
4 years. So half the fun is exploring.
All right, so let's talk a little bit about rescue techniques. And we're not going to go into every single one and how to do them in this video because that's could be a couple days worth of stuff. But what are some of the main rescue techniques that you think people should study and learn, and how should they learn these things so that they are prepared?
Yeah, so typically a jet ski or personal watercraft, with a couple of very simple mods, it becomes what we call a rescue watercraft. You put a rescue sled on the back. If you have a Yamaha and it's got that big water spout shooting straight vertical in the air, you disable that, let it, you know,
First thing I
discharge off
do
the
every
back.
time I
Yeah.
buy a ski.
So otherwise it splashes your rider and it just doesn't look great, part of that flow. Depending on what model jet ski you have, sometimes you might pull your mirrors off. And pulling those side view mirrors off helps you get more reach with your hand. So how the jet ski is built also dictates how you use it in the surf. Some have reversers, some don't. Right hand throttle, left hand pickup. You know, you go right hand, off hand pickup. You got to practice that because your hand is off the throttle. You don't typically switch hands or anything like that. So typically you're doing a right hand driving up and a left hand grab. And you're going to train before you go out with your partner or your crew so that if somebody falls off, somebody else can take your spot and affect whatever you guys have to do. So that crew knowledge, that they have a basic understanding of what to expect and how it feels and how it looks, and being close to somebody else with a jet ski and not running them over, approach speed, all these things have to be considered and practiced. So I wouldn't expect, you know, somebody to do great if I just say, hey, you want to come tow with me? It's 4 feet. Let's go.
Yeah.
And I get out there, it's overhead, and I got my partner who is a great surfer, but a terrible driver, puts me in a bad spot. So before we hit the impact zone, I'll be like, okay, let's practice real quick.
Sure.
A couple pickups, whatever. And what's rule number one?
Don't suck up the rope.
Don't suck up the rope. Sucking up the ski rope will absolutely disable your craft, makes you a liability, takes the whole team down. It also compromises what? The local knowledge, the legal aspect, the etiquette, all these things are out the window when you have a disabled watercraft.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have to grab your fins and start fixing the problem, so be it. But don't suck up the rope. Rule number one.
And know how to get a rope out if you do. I think that's a big one, right? Like, do you have the proper tools and stuff to get it out? You never want to, get your fingers caught up in those things. So really be careful and know the rules, or know how to get a rope out that is sucked up. Understand. Get under your ski before you go into water and see how it works. See what the impeller is. See where the bolts are. See how it would get sucked up so you know what you're doing. Just like, oh, I sucked something up. What do I do? You really got to kind of know that.
Yeah, and also preparing the ski as well. Comes with your ability to work on the ski, troubleshoot it real quick. If you go to put the key in, it doesn't start. Know how to navigate that.
Sure.
A Sea-Doo is going to be different than a Kawasaki, and it's going to be slightly different than a Yamaha.
Yeah.
So if you got a no start condition, you can troubleshoot it real quick before that double overhead wave is on top of you.
Sure.
We've been seconds to spare sometimes, and you get out clean, no problem, moving on.
Yeah.
The other thing too is preparing the ski. The seat straps, like Jeremy discussed.
Yeah, so we did that in our second.
You
part.
roll over,
We
you
launched
blow
all
out a
that.
seat. Obviously, you can lose the ski. So just preparing your ski and being knowledgeable about what to do with the ski at that point. But moving on to your rescue techniques, there again, you're just nothing's going fast. When you're doing a rescue, you're getting close to somebody. You take that extra breath. You're looking. You're navigating. Not turning your back to the surf. You're always watching the waves. You're watching your exit. You're watching your guy. And one thing that you really have to know about your tow partner is after he's off the board, and he's in the water somewhere and he's detached, you can see his board over here. If you're in the water by yourself, just floating there, you're about the target size of a coconut, maybe smaller.
Mm-hmm.
So you got a lot of white water and a lot of
That's it.
swirly whatever going on. Lock into where that guy's at. Do not lose sight of him. And if you do, get oriented really quick, depending on the conditions, knowing how to operate with that guy in the water. That he is your responsibility. And also, if you do fall off the ski, get big. Put your hands up in the air, wave your arm. I'm over here, just stick it up in the air for a second or two. The guy might be looking at the wave, he looks back, and you put your hand down first. Just keep it up there for a while. Keep it waving until you know that he sees you.
Yeah, and that comes down to, we talked about this in the other videos, is wear bright or contrasting colors too. That helps a lot for a tow partner, so that your driver can see you and come find you easily. That helps a lot.
Absolutely does. Yep.
I think it was really important what you said is like stay calm and take your time. Like if it's not the right time to go get them in the middle of this breaking set, they're probably going to be okay if they're wearing the proper gear and life jacket and everything. So like, do you think it's time that you should wait, right? You should wait till the set comes through, or do you want to if you put yourself at risk, you're not going to be able to help them either. So you want to make sure that you're safe so that you can make them safe as well.
Yeah. So there again, knowing your conditions and how it affects your pickups, your pickup technique. Every good team obviously has great communication and relay a signal, whether it's by phone, by radio, whistle, and hand signals. Really comes down to the very bare minimum basic. But with each team or each group that goes out, just know that you establish that language first. What are we going to use? Hand signals, I like using basically two of them. It's either I'm okay or I need help.
Yep.
And like I'm okay, hand on top of the head.
And that comes from scuba diving as well.
Not
if
moving.
You're coming up, you touch your head, it's basically I'm okay. Surface okay. It's
and
an
then,
important one.
And your partner can acknowledge, cool, you're okay. This one hand out, either way, I need help.
Pretty straight, pretty self-explanatory.
Or come pick me up.
Yep.
It kind of means the same thing, but I need help. Two hands up, something's really bad.
Yep.
So just keep it simple. I'm okay, and I need help.
So if you fall really hard and, there's a chance that your partner might be like, oh man, is he okay? Or I can't see him, and you're in there and you can see him looking, or like, ever just let him know you're okay. You don't need to rush, put yourself in danger to come get me. That's an important thing, I think.
And the next really low technology, primitive signaling device, which is incredible, is your whistle. And I believe Coast Guard and FWC, everybody requires these for jet skis.
Yeah, I believe you're supposed to have a whistle and a life jacket for at least
so it's just good overall, great tool to have. It really does get people's attention. I can scream at them all day long. You notice from lifeguarding or even at the fire department. Scream at somebody all day long, can't get their attention. You blow a whistle one time, head comes up. They're looking. It's eyes up. And hit that whistle, eyes up, come up, then you're like, I need help. Get the hand signal going because I only got this.
So good to have
That's
on your
all you
life
got.
jacket. That way if you're in the water, you have one. If you're on the ski, you have one. It's good to have on your person at all times. If you see your partner looking around, can't find you, you're waving, he doesn't see you, he'll hear you with a whistle. A good whistle, too. Make sure you get a good one.
Yeah, and even working with multiple teams in the water, you got motors going, you got wind in your ears, all this ambient noise. A whistle penetrates through that. So if you got one team trying to hail another team that's underway, the whistle can work. And then moving on to the cell phone, obviously. But inside your pouch and your life jacket, inside your hold, and like a Pelican, like a 1040 case or something like that, goes down in the hold. It's got a little bit of a bumper, some protection. And most of these are waterproof now anyway. So
a nice little waterproof bag to make the magnetic ones. We sell them here. They flip them, boom, you put it in there 2 seconds. It's covered.
Just know when your screen's wet, it might not work that great, but if it's in a case,
or an Apple Watch. Apple Watch are great.
Apple Watch is great. And you're able to call shore, call your wife, call whoever you set that boat plan and said, hey, I'm out today. Hey, I got stuck. I'm off, a mile out of Sebastian Inlet. The tide was going out and they pushed me. I lost power. Yep. And guess what? Your buddy's going to come down, launch his ski, come grab you. If the bystanders see you, they might call the Coast Guard or something. You can call them. You see them coming, give them a call. Say, I'm okay. I just need help. I got a buddy coming. And you can divert that huge response. And then the nice wilderness communication, backcountry, we like to call it backcountry when we go more than 2 miles offshore, having the ICOM. And
talking about the techniques, where can people study these techniques? Where can they find the rescue techniques?
Okay.
I see you got a nice little booklet there.
Oh yeah, yeah. This is the Bible. So this is a copy. I've probably had this book for 25 years now or so. But Brian Keolana, the Hawaiian Lifeguard Association, this is a copy of it because we beat these things up. But the personal water rescue craft manual.
We looked this up. This is a 1998 version, but it looks like they just released a 2025 version that you can purchase on their website. So definitely something to look into. Study these techniques. Be safe out there.
And this is the de facto standard. This is from all the tow teams that developed it from back in the day at Jaws, North Shore, the Hawaiian Lifeguard Association, just all the core guys. This is their sweat and tears put in this book.
So in real waves.
This is now the national standard, even at what we call the NFPA, National Fire Protection Association, and Tech Rescue Standard comes from these guys. So if you want the core source, the solid word, that's this book. And it's very well written. It's very simply described. It's like you can't describe what we're talking about here any better than what this book does. So I highly recommend Beg, Borrow, Steal, take the class, by some of these guys. There's some companies out there that do this professionally in your zone across the country. Look it up. Get better at what we do. You know, it's pretty awesome when you got some heavy, intense situations and you have that extra safety buffer there. It is actually relaxing and fun that you can rely on your other teammates, and knowing that if something goes crazy, you're either going to fix it right away or someone's coming to fix it with you. So
Great.
be
Well,
prepared.
I think we covered most of it. And if you guys have any questions, feel free to give the shop a call and reach out. And stay safe out there. Have fun.